Granted says, do you think this is healthy? Look at this. Look at her pushing that baby's head. Is there anything healthy about this?
Gypsy Rose Blanchard's latest live stream with her newborn has sparked intense debate and concern, turning what should have been a sweet mother-baby moment into a disturbing spectacle. What started as an attempt to showcase affection quickly unraveled into a series of unsettling actions that left viewers questioning her ability to properly care for her child. From awkward handling to outright negligence, Gypsy's actions raised serious red flags, with many wondering if Child Protective Services should intervene. Even she herself acknowledged the possibility, saying if they weren't already involved, they certainly should be, as her child could be in danger under her care.
Yeah, they're doing what needs to do with her. It's very clear. Look at that. The fact that an infant, because that's not even a toddler, an infant, is pushing her away. And Gypsy's trying to show dominance.
Throughout the live stream, Gypsy appeared more focused on the camera and her own appearance than on ensuring her baby's safety. One of the most alarming moments came when she repeatedly failed to provide the necessary support for her newborn's delicate head. At just 2 months old, infants rely entirely on their caregivers to support their developing neck muscles.
Michelle appeared defending her. Yeah. That baby not defending her. And if that doesn't show you that that's not a baby that she's with all the time, just look at the way she pushed that baby head back. Some of y'all sick for defending that. Very, 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 very sick. There's nothing right about it.
Which are not yet strong enough to hold up their heads. Neglecting this crucial aspect of infant care can result in serious issues, including strain, spinal injury, or other developmental complications. Instead of cradling or supporting her baby properly,
Granted says, do you think this is healthy? Look at this. Look at her pushing that baby's head. Is there anything healthy about this?
The baby's not a little tiny baby anymore. You should be...
Gypsy moved the infant around carelessly, her actions more akin to posing for the camera than tending to a fragile newborn. Her attempt at playfulness quickly turned concerning when she blew air into her baby's face, an action that may seem harmless to some but can be overwhelming and distressing for a newborn. What was likely meant as a moment of affection took on a more troubling tone as she continued with forceful kisses.
This is my own thoughts of you, is because you were so desperate to prove your point to Nina. That's why you're doing this. You's just like you's mama. You're so desperate to prove your point that you wanted to...
Blowing into the baby's nose and ears, and jarring the baby's head in ways that looked not just careless, but potentially harmful. Newborns at this stage are incredibly vulnerable, and even well-meaning actions can cause distress or discomfort if not handled with care. Gypsy's complete lack of awareness of this fact only deepened concerns about her ability to meet the basic needs of her child.
You know, thing when walking around the house and stuff, to keep her head turned a certain way, so her face wouldn't be exposed. So that way you're not going back on your word of, I'll never expose her on the internet, blah, 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 blah. Just because we don't see her face don't mean that you're not putting her on the internet. Don't.
What made the situation even more alarming was that this wasn't an isolated mistake. It was a series of unsettling behaviors that, when viewed together, painted a much darker picture of neglect and irresponsibility. First-time mothers are typically overly cautious, instinctively protective of their newborns, and hyper-aware of their child's needs.
Hey, you still put her on the internet. The only thing is you're not showing her face. And so what? More so than that, you care more about proving your point. You don't care that the baby's uncomfortable. You care about you.
They research, ask questions, and ensure they are handling their baby in the safest way possible. But Gypsy's behavior reflected none of this natural maternal concern. Whether out of ignorance or indifference, she failed to recognize the potential dangers of her actions, leaving many wondering if she is truly fit to care for an infant.
Comfortable holding your baby.
It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths.
Her lack of concern about supporting her baby's head or the visible discomfort the baby displayed sent a chilling message about her capability as a mother. If she was this unaware or careless in a public setting where thousands were watching, it raised serious questions about what might be happening behind closed doors. Another disturbing moment came when Gypsy misused a baby sling in ways that defied common sense and basic infant safety.
Christy, shame on us. Shame on y'all, man. And I get it. Like, first time moms, in the beginning, it becomes awkward. It's like, oh my gosh, there's this little tiny human, and I totally understand.
Baby slings are designed to provide both comfort and security, keeping newborns close to their caregiver's body while ensuring proper support for their developing spine and joints. Instead of using it properly, Gypsy chose to sit while wearing the sling, completely missing its intended purpose. The sling, which should have provided support and closeness, instead became a prop in an already troubling display. Worse yet, she covered her baby's face with the fabric.
You should be just, I mean, you know why you were uncomfortable? This is my own thoughts and opinion, is because you were so desperate to prove your point to Nina. That's why you're doing this. You're just like you's mama. You're so...
A decision that not only defeated the purpose of using the sling, but also posed a serious suffocation risk. Viewers were left horrified, questioning whether she understood the potential consequences of her actions or if she simply didn't care. The online backlash was swift and intense, with people split between defending Gypsy as a new mother still learning the ropes and those who believe her behavior signals a much deeper problem.
That you wanted to make sure you put her in this, thing when you're walking around the house and stuff, to keep her head turned a certain way, so her face wouldn't be exposed. So that way you're not going back on your word of, I'll never expose her on the internet, blah, 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 blah.
While it's true that first-time parents can make mistakes, Gypsy's actions were not minor missteps, but repeated and dangerous patterns of neglect. The lack of proper support for her baby's head, the careless handling, the unnecessary roughness, all of it pointed to a disregard for the child's fragile state. Infant care requires not just love but knowledge and attentiveness, two things Gypsy appeared to lack entirely during the live stream.
No, there's a foot, there's a head, there's a hand. You're still putting her on the internet. The only thing is you're not showing her face. And so what? More so than that, you care more about proving your point. You don't care that the baby's uncomfortable. You care about...
What seemed like innocent mistakes quickly spiraled into a heated debate, with many questioning whether Gypsy truly understands the basics of infant care or if she's repeating the patterns of control and neglect that defined her own childhood. One of the most alarming moments caught on camera was when Gypsy attempted to cover her baby's face, seemingly to keep the infant from being seen by viewers.
That baby didn't want to keep her head turned a certain way the whole time, just so you didn't have to not break your promise of exposing her when you were doing it anyway. Your brain is screwed up. Gypsy, you're wrong for that. You're caring more about proving your point to Nina than your own baby. And why did I think this was important? Because you're already using your child.
While this might have appeared to be a simple effort to maintain privacy, medical experts warn that covering a baby's face, even partially, can pose serious health risks. A baby's airflow can be restricted if the material is too thick or pressed too tightly against their skin, leading to potential breathing difficulties or even suffocation. This mistake, while possibly unintentional, highlighted a concerning lack of awareness about basic infant safety.
Born December 28th. So as of now, that would make her roughly 2.5 months old, right? And according to Raina, Ken's mama, this baby weighed 5 pounds and some odd ounces, right? And we have to also take into consideration the baby was born a little bit premature, a couple weeks or whatever.
Beyond the issue of face coverage, Gypsy's handling of her baby in a sling also set off alarms. Baby wearing is meant to provide comfort and support, but only when done correctly. In Gypsy's case, the way she positioned the infant appeared to cut off circulation to the baby's legs. If blood flow is restricted for too long, it can cause numbness, discomfort, and in severe cases, long-term damage to a child's legs or hips.
A little bit, right? We got a premature baby, tiny little peanut of a baby, right? 5 pounds and something ounces. Okay, so she's in the chair, and you can see this baby she's holding is clearly older than 2.5 months old. You could see the baby has real good.
This wasn't a one-time mistake. Viewers noticed that Gypsy repeatedly misused the sling, signaling a deeper misunderstanding of how to properly use baby-wearing equipment. What made the situation even more unsettling was the presence of Gypsy's stepmother, Christy, who was in the background but seemingly did nothing to correct these potentially dangerous mistakes. Given that Christy has more experience with raising children, many expected her to step in, offer guidance, or at the very least, warn Gypsy about the risks.
Okay, and at 2.5 months old, they're starting to hold their head up. And, you know, you figure 6, 8 weeks old, they're, you know, just starting to learn. This baby's doing real good with the head. Then listen to the baby cooing. Yeah, I understand they make the noises from the time they're born, but this baby's clearly interacting with her.
However, there was no visible attempt to intervene, which has led to speculation about whether Gypsy is unwilling to accept advice or if Christy is reluctant to take on a more active role in ensuring the baby's safety. The fact that these questionable parenting choices continued even with an experienced adult present has only intensified public concern.
You know how they have almost like a little conversation, right? A 2.5 month old baby is not going to do that. This baby appears to be, no, I'm not no expert, clearly. But if I had to guess, that baby looks at least 4 months old, if not more.
Perhaps the most unsettling moment came when Gypsy was heard telling her baby, "You belong to me." While some might brush this off as a mother expressing love, others saw it as a major red flag, especially considering Gypsy's past. Dee Blanchard, Gypsy's late mother, was notoriously controlling and manipulative, treating Gypsy as an extension of herself rather than an individual with her own autonomy.
And to see the way that she's holding the baby, she's bouncing the baby's head and seemingly blowing in her face or her nose. When I saw this, I was just immediately concerned. In my last video, I told you
many fear that Gypsy may be repeating this toxic dynamic with her own child, whether consciously or not. The possessiveness behind her words suggests deeper issues related to control, entitlement, and possibly even narcissism. Narcissistic behavior often manifests in an overwhelming need for control, particularly over those closest to the narcissist.
that CPS was definitely involved. Other creators have talked about this, and even Entertainment Lawyer put out a blind item, and he's pretty reliable. I was told CPS was involved. They definitely...
In this case, Gypsy's declaration that her baby belongs to her suggests a mindset where the child is seen less as an individual with needs and more as an extension of Gypsy's identity. This is particularly concerning given her history and the fact that she has, at times, struggled to acknowledge the needs and boundaries of others. If left unchecked, this could lead to a harmful dynamic where Gypsy exerts an unhealthy level of control over her child.
Now, I don't know about the custody thing, but somebody brought up in the comments on my last video that you never see Gypsy alone with the baby. Somebody is always there. Also in the video, she says to the baby,
mirroring the very behaviors she claimed to have suffered under Dee Dee's care. As these concerns continue to circulate, more and more people are calling for Child Protective Services, CPS, to get involved.
To me, I mean, I can't even see it saying that in a loving way. Oh, you belong to me. I mean, it's especially from GRB. What are y'all's thoughts on this behavior? It's very concerning, it's bizarre, and it's unsafe and unsettling.
If Gypsy is making such concerning mistakes on camera, many worry about what might be happening when no one is watching. The repeated lapses in judgment, combined with the underlying issues of control and possessiveness,
now that the baby carrier is too large for the baby, and she isn't positioned correctly in it. How the baby's arms should be positioned above the chest strap, and how normally these types of carriers aren't used until a baby is at least 6 months.
Have fueled debates about whether she is truly capable of caring for her baby in a safe and healthy environment. While Gypsy has insisted that she is doing her best as a new mother, the growing number of red flags has left many wondering if intervention is necessary before the situation takes a darker turn.
Make soft cloth carriers where you can wear your baby, and I think that may have been more appropriate for an 11-week-old baby. And it's unclear whether or not she's even going out with the baby. So far, nobody has caught them out.
The internet remains divided, with some arguing that Gypsy deserves grace as a first-time mother and others fearing that her past may be influencing her present in ways that could put her baby at risk. The situation is far from settled, and with increasing public scrutiny, it's only a matter of time before authorities take a closer look. For now, all eyes are on Gypsy, and the question remains, will she prove her critics wrong? Or is this just the beginning of another tragic chapter in her life?
Pictures leaked, which people have commented is strange. Something tells me that eventually a picture of the baby will be leaked, and this is going to justify further breaking that original statement of not sharing the baby. It's unclear whether or not this outing is staged.
And that's a wrap on this wild situation. But trust me, this story is far from over. What do you think? Are people overreacting? Or are these real red flags that need to be taken seriously? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's get the conversation going. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the latest updates on Gypsy Rose and all the hottest celebrity drama. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned, stay safe, and stay messy.